Hello. Okay, this quick lecture is really more of a intro and sharing of my personal favorite ed tech tools. That's why it's called Ladendorfs Favorites. And it is current as of spring 2024. Obviously, new tools are created, and I'll update this over the years. But this is, as of right now, my personal favorite ones that I worked with as a tech director and also as a teacher and then a professional development provider. So my personal favorite ed tech tools. So our learning targets for this session is we're going to look at all these different, really large variety of digital tools. You're going to have a chance to explore them, and I will mark on there if they include badging or not. And it's really looking at how, as we look at these different tools, I will connect them right back to the computer literacy standards and to the ISTE standards that we've gone through. So these are all amazing tools, and they are all going to connect not just to your final project, but also to our ed tech standards. So digital tools go in all different categories, and you're going to see like one tool does not just stay in like it's just a creation tool or it's just a math tool. It can go across multiple different categories. So you're going to see on the screen for each one either a long list of tools that all kind of go in there or a specific call out to one tool and what categories it could potentially fall under. It really just depends on how you want to use it as a teacher. If you see this little badge sign, that means that there is a teacher certification badge associated with it. Not all tools that I'm showcasing have that, but there are some tools that I just cannot not share. I have to share these amazing tools. But if you are at a loss for your final project on which tool should I look at to get a badge, if you see the little badge sign and one of these tools I mentioned really piques your interest, that's one that you should take a look at. So we're going to start right off the bat with Apple tools. I could go for days on end about each one of these amazing tools. Clips is an iPad app that lets you create really short, quick videos. I made my intro to the course video with Clips. It lets you put call outs and emojis and add music in. It is an easy to use, amazing iPad app, and it is completely free for anybody. It's on your iPad, and if you're an Apple user, it's also on your iPhone. So you can use those to create really cool movies, really quick and easy. If you're looking for a little more in-depth editing, though, iMovie is available for free on both the iPad and the MacBook. Phenomenal editing tool. Really lets you dive in and really deep create videos. So your students could use Clips. I loved using Clips all the way with middle school kids. I'd walk in and do professional development with a teacher and say, okay, we're going to have the kids create a video on their reflection of this historical era with Clips. Just because it's phenomenal and so easy. And they won't get lost in the minutia of really editing their video. But for our advanced media classes in middle school, we used iMovie, and that's okay. So both of these amazing video tools. Keynote is Apple's version of PowerPoint. I love Keynote. It is a phenomenal tool. While I like it for presenting, I love it even more for creation. You could create an infographic right on Keynote. You can add in all of their different shapes, and actually if you have an iPad with an Apple Pencil, you could color over those shapes and really personalize them. Keynote is just a phenomenal creation tool. As a presentation tool, it's good. I love it for presenting. Personally, I've become more PowerPoint oriented. I like PowerPoint. They give you design options, but Keynote, awesome for creation. GarageBand is sound editing and recording. It's available on both the MacBook and iPad. Again, Great, easy to use tool. It feels really overwhelming at first, but once you kind of dive in with Apple's resources, you realize it's not so bad. Photo Booth allows you to take pictures with filters, including green screen. So you could do green screen pictures and green screen videos. That's on iPad and MacBook. And then photo editing. That's on the iPad and MacBook. You don't need, with your students, you don't need to get Photoshop or these really expensive photo editing tools. The iPad lets you pull the picture up right on the iPad app, and you can change the filter, the color, the crop. You can enhance things. You can take things away. It all built in for free directly to the device. And the MacBook Photos app does the same thing. And this was, like I said, a really quick intro. There are a million things you could do with all of these, and Apple has an amazing badge opportunity. If you are an Apple person, or you have an iPad and you're like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't know what more I could do with this, go to education.apple.com. And so that's education.apple.com. It's also listed in the Wakelet of badges. That's up in Blackboard. And if you go there, you create your own free account, you can go through tons of tutorials specific to the MacBook and the iPad. And those tutorials will cover everything from how do I organize myself on this device to how do I use GarageBand? How do I use Keynote or all of the other Apple apps? And then Apple also has built into their badging work time to go and explore their everyone can create resources. And these are open free resources for teachers where they go, hey teacher, you want to work on videos with your students. Here are ideas on how to incorporate video and how to teach it to your students, how to have them use clips to create a video, how to have them use Keynote to create a really cool animation. So Apple has that all created out for you. Awesome tips and tricks there. So if you are an Apple person or you end up in an Apple district, this is a must-do badge. It is, you can become Apple Teacher Certified in iPad, MacBook, or if you even want coding as well. And you could get the next level up Apple Teacher with Portfolio and then just keep going deeper with everything that Apple has to offer. But I highly recommend if you end up in a district where even if you're like, well, I'm teaching first grade and my kinder and first graders, we use iPad, but then they're going to go on to the MacBook, still get the badge. If you're like, yeah, I'm PE, and some of my students will have iPads, some will have Chromebooks, get the Apple badge. It is phenomenal and will open your eyes to everything that Apple has to offer. Not that I'm biased, I'm an Apple person. So amazing creation tools and an amazing free badge and tons of free resources, and they are constantly updating their resources for teachers. And I cannot not talk about Google. Google really has a stronghold in many, many schools. The two platforms you're really going to see in schools for the most part are either Google or Apple. Students either have access to a Chromebook or an iPad. And it really just depends on the district. Here in Illinois, many districts have gone Google and Chromebook. They tend to be cheaper on the front end. Not as cheap in the long run, especially with repairs and warranties, but that gets into a whole other area and my own bias towards Apple. But you will see a lot of districts use Google. Even if they use iPads, they also use Google Workspace for Education. So you're going to see the Google apps, and I highly recommend taking a look at Google Educator Level 1 badging for that. The badge itself, the class is free, but the badge is, I believe, $10 for the first one, $25 for the second. So it does cost, but you get a really deep dive into all of these Google tools. And obviously the ones that, you're going to use constantly: Slides, Docs, and Sheets. Docs is like Word, Slides is like PowerPoint, Sheets is like Excel, and they are pretty darn powerful. In fact, many times school districts will be like, we will give teachers access to Microsoft, but we're not going to give the kids because it's not worth it to give the kids the Microsoft access. They could do it in Google. And that's what you'll see. I didn't feature in this presentation. There is also the Microsoft Creation Suite, and Microsoft is another really big one. You see that more in higher education. We don't see it as often in the public schools. But you will see your students constantly using docs, slides, and sheets. The other thing that you will see is using Google Slides for students to create portfolios or to showcase to students, this is your choice board. So as a teacher, you might end up creating a lot of different things right in Slides. Awesome stuff there. And Slides, Google will showcase all the different templates out there that you can utilize. And if you search Google Slide template, Google Slide choice board template, I guarantee you somebody out there has created one that you can borrow for free, as long as you give them credit and change it up for either a portfolio or a choice board. All Google accounts, including personal ones, come with access to Google Sites, free website. Awesome way to get kids really introduced to creating a website. On the teacher end, unfortunately, we can't control so much of it, so you have to have the students share their website directly with you, and then you have to click each individual student to see what they're putting on their site. But it is a really great tool, especially for you personally as a teacher. If you want to create a website, this is an easy, fast way to do it. That's free. And if your district has you using Google, might as well just create a Google site. It's all included in your account. Google Keep is, think of it as like a notebook, but like digital notebooks, digital Post-its. You can keep notes on them, to-do list, tasks list, and then you can tag them with different topics and say, this Post-it note covers tech, curriculum, and to-dos. And then you can filter and say, I want to see only my Post-its that are tagged with to-dos, or only my Post-its that are tagged with, curriculum, whatever it might be. But Keep is a really, really cool tool. It is available as an app as well on the iPad, so you could, or on the iPhone as well. So as a teacher, you could be working and say, I need to keep a note of that, and pull your Google Keep account up, put it in there, and be able to access all of your notes. Maps. Google Maps is more than just directions. Students can actually create their own customized maps. They can do a virtual walkthrough of Chicago and create certain pin drops on the map, complete with their own lessons or their own links and resources and pictures that they want to include, and then make that map an interactive one. The badge will walk you through how to do that. Very cool things you could do with maps. And then a really strong hold out there for an LMS is Google Classroom. It's a good virtual classroom. It is limited. There's only so much we can control with it as a teacher and as a district, but many, many schools will use Google Classroom, especially in elementary and middle. By high school, they might use something else that we'll talk about later, but Google Classroom, you will see this quite often. And then I am remiss to share, if you have recently used Jamboard, if any of your teachers use Jamboard, or you were in a school and you saw Jamboard being used. Jamboard is an interactive display where students can post, they can draw on it, they can respond to it, and Google just announced that they are retiring it. It was constantly in beta, and for whatever reason they decided, we're not going to continue it. So sad. So that is the one downside with Google. Every now and then they will showcase a really cool tool like Jamboard, and then they'll take it away. And there will be no rhyme or reason for it. They did this with a virtual reality. It was called Google Expeditions. And it was an app that let you use virtual reality goggles, and you could guide students and have them take a look at all of these cool online places and virtually visit historical sites. And they discontinued it out of the blue, and nobody knew why. So, but I do highly recommend this badge, especially if you've used Google, but you're not too sure about everything. There is a pretty darn good chance you're going to be in a Google district, or in a district where Google has had quite the stronghold on it. So I highly recommend taking a look at this badge. So if you're not too sure where to start and you want to just start with like a basic ecosystem, like a basic platform, try either the Apple badge or Google Educator Level 1. That gives you a really broad view of many apps all in one. But great, great, great organization tools and creation tools, both from Google and Apple. All right, some more specific. These are very, very specific ones that we're going with. Canva. I love Canva. Wasn't too sure about it. I have come to love Canva. It is an digital creation tool. You can make posters and documents and presentations, sites, pictures to post on social media, Google Classroom banners, you name it, you could create it in Canva. It is so amazing. There is a Canva for Education badge out there. I just started looking at it myself, and I'm discovering everything that Canva can do. The only thing I've always heard is, Karen, I love Canva, but do you know, you hit this paywall. I want to do stuff, but there's only so much you can do for free. You're right. Except if you go back into Blackboard and check out another video I have, I think back with the infographic topic, there is a way as an educator to get the free version or the full premium version of Canva for free. And I highly recommend it. As soon as I did that, it opened up a whole new world. So if you are looking for a way to just create really cool worksheets, really cool manipulatives, cool newsletters, cool ways to create bulletin board cutouts, whatever you want to create, Canva is awesome. And they've got so much stuff now. And the pro version being available for free for teachers really makes it one that even if you're not going to get the badge, get that account and just start playing in it. It is an awesome tool, and I guarantee you will use this one throughout your entire teaching career. This one does not have a badge, unfortunately, but I would be so remiss to not share Tinkercad. If you are into 3D creation, you're interested in that, you're going into CTE, I highly recommend Tinkercad. It's hosted by Autodesk, which is, really heavy duty virtual creation. However, Tinkercad takes this really big Autodesk and reduces it down to a very manageable size for students. And I've seen students as young as 3rd grade using Tinkercad to create a 3D model. And what's cool is they could create this 3D model, and then we can actually save it and then use it in another app, put it in a presentation, present it somewhere else, and even send it to a 3D printer and actually print what they create. I've seen so many really, really cool 3D creations from students. Everything from, we are saying this would be a really great new monument to have 3rd graders were doing research on national monuments, and they had to create a model of one that they would like to propose. So they researched, did a deep dive of what kind of a model or what kind of a new national monument they would like to see be created in the U.S., created that in Tinkercad, 3D printed it, and then presented it to their classes to say, this is what I think. Really cool things you could do with this. All the way up through high school, creating 3D models of different science molecules, whatever it is you would like to create. If you're not sure where to start, they've got free lessons, guides, and resources. So again, if you're interested in 3D, I highly recommend going into Tinkercad, create a free account, and take a look at their free resources that they have, that they've created. Don't go out to the mass world of Google. Start right here and take a look at their resources and expand off of those. Book Creator. This is a really cool app and website. It lets you create ebooks. And then as you're creating this digital book, you can export the book as a PDF or as a video file, or even as an ebook that would open in the bookstore or in any other ebook reader. It's a very, very cool, really, really easy to use app and website. So it exists as an iPad app, and it also exists as a website. The free version is limited, but many districts have gone and purchased the full version. So there is also an educator badge. I believe it's called a book creator author, something along those lines. But I've seen students as young as kindergarten create in Book Creator, and as old as high school create in Book Creator. Really cool way that you can easily create your own fast and easy ebook. And it could be a research presentation, it could be a final portfolio, a final summary, whatever it is you would like. But really cool stuff. And if you're into this, they do have an amazing badge out there. So if you're into writing and you want to look for alternative ways for students to write, check out Book Creator. WeVideo is an online video creation tool. So while you have a lot of these, like depending on what device you have, like if you have an iPad, you have a video creation tool right there because you have the Clips app, the iMovie app, you've got that. Same thing with the MacBook. Some tools though, especially the Chromebook, they don't have that built right on the device. So that's where we've got WeVideo. And this site lets you create online videos. It is a very safe to use creation tool for students. And again, has great immediate lesson plans and ideas. There is a badge for this one as well. But if you're looking for a way to create videos with students, this is a phenomenal tool. And yes, it's freemium. There's only so much you could do for free, but even the free version gets you pretty far. Kahoot. We all love Kahoot. If you have not used Kahoot, it's an online quizzing game. They have expanded this so much so that, in a traditional game mode, everybody competes against each other and you get points based on did you answer the question correctly and how fast did you answer the question. As a teacher, you could get a report at the end. It's very cool. You can now do it in teams. You can even set it up where students do it independently. So you don't have it's not like a full class game. They just run through it on their own. Very cool stuff. There is a badge. There's actually multiple. You start off with like a bronze, silver, gold level badges, and it's very, very cool how you build your way up, and you learn so much about Kahoot. This is a great, easy to use quizzing site. Highly recommend it. But I would be remiss, as my own children have said, if I did not share about Blookit. Blookit is really similar to Kahoot. You have avatars that are animals. I believe Kahoot lets you do that now too. It's another quizzing game. I will just warn you, it's extremely competitive. As a player, you will have the chance to hack or sabotage other players, which can lead to a lot of anxiety in some students. So watch your audience. If you've got a group of kids in front of you, you're like, this will create like just a bloodbath. Don't go with Blookit, go with Kahoot. But if you're like, yeah, this group could handle it, they could handle the bloodbath. Blookit is very, very entertaining. I've seen it in action and I have heard the screams and the anger. So if you've got some over emotional kids, don't recommend Blookit. If you've got some kids though that are not as emotional that can really handle that, Blookit is a really, really, really great tool. And it, changes it up from Kahoot, which is really nice. Another gaming and review site is Quizzes. This is a quizzing game. It is time-based. It can make you repeat the questions as well. I love this if I'm looking for a really simple, do you get this information? And I get a really good feedback report at the end. There is a badge for quizzes as well for teachers. So if you're like, I want a good quizzing game, but I don't want it to be overly competitive like Kahoot and look at, quizzes is a really great way to go, especially with your middle school and high school students. Elementary likes it. They love Kahoot and Blooket. But elementary can do this one too. I highly recommend this one if you're looking at middle or high school. This is a really, really great tool. And again, a great badge that you can look into. Lumio is part of Smart Learning Suite. So Smart Learning Suite are your interactive smart boards. We have the giant whiteboard that you can't really write on because you have to use digital pen, but you could touch it and move things around, and it's all interactive. Well, Smart created an online version called Lumio. It is crazy what it offers. You can sign up for free. I highly encourage to. What makes it limited in the free version is you have only so much storage space, and then if you want to pay to get more, you could pay to get more. But in your limited storage space, you have access to everything. You can create online presentations. You could create online lessons. You can then share those lessons with students. They could go at it at their own pace. You can build assessments directly in Lumio, as well as gaming assessments as well. And you get feedback on all of these, which is awesome. It's growing on a daily basis. When I was in District 93, we worked directly with Smart Learning, and their engineers would pull a group of tech directors together once every quarter and say, okay, educators, what do you like? What are your teachers saying they like? What are your teachers saying they want? And they would add in new features based directly on teacher and admin feedback. They even have a tool built into a link right on Lumio that says, click here to give us feedback or request something. And you could go in and say, I really need this. And they truly read through all teacher requests. So it's a very, very, very responsive company. I love Smart Learning for that. And Lumio is really, really cool. It is a really great alternative to Jamboard. And what's nice with Lumio is we know it's not going anywhere. They have put a lot of time and effort into it. And I really see more of their Smart Learning Suite and the Smart Notebook Suite that you use with the Smart Board. I see it all going over to the digital version in the future. So if you're looking for online lesson creation, if you're looking for a way to make lessons interactive, to build games and assessments together alongside your lessons, Lumio is phenomenal. One of my personal favorites. On the gaming side, though, I also would be remiss if I did not mention Gimkit. Gimkit does not have a badge. However, it's a really, really cool site. We're seeing more districts use Gimkit, especially with middle and high school. Not so much elementary. It is an online quizzing game, but you earn money as a student that you can spend in different ways. They've got writing prompt templates now. They've got interactive writing options. So they're really expanding everything. No badge, but there is a free version. So if you're interested in just kind of exploring, or you hear about this in the schools, Gimkit is a really, really cool one to take a look at. You kind of naturally move from gaming to assessment because our games, we're really looking at how do we, entertaining our kids and engaging them while we're also getting assessment data. But then we also have actual assessment tools. And my personal all-time favorite, as you know from this class, because I use it, is Formative. It used to be known as Go Formative. Formative is hands down my most favorite online assessment tool. You can import a Google slide and have it create your formative responses. You can build all different types of assessments. You can tag standards with those. And then as a teacher, I can see the progress by question, by standard, by class. I can even look at one student and see their progress over the entire semester or class. It is such a phenomenal tool. You can also do audio responses, video responses, and feedback and give audio and video feedback as well. It's just an amazing tool. The free version lets you create as many formatives as you want, but limits the number of different question types. If your district goes with a paid version, what's really cool is you could import a PDF and actually a PDF or a picture and put numbers on it and say, answer this about this, reflect on this, what's this, what's it. Awesome tool. I personally love Formative. The badge is available with Formative as well, so I highly recommend this one if you're looking for online assessment tools. And this one is great. It doesn't matter the age for this one, and from elementary all the way up through high school. And the other piece why I really like a digital assessment tool personally is it's an unfortunate in that we have digital assessment, state assessments for our students starting in 3rd grade. The state of Illinois requires all students to take a digital assessment 3rd grade on up. 3rd through 8th is IAR, and high school is the SAT and PSAT. But districts even do digital assessments, usually MAP or iReady, down into kindergarten. So our students are going to be taking these digital assessments. It's really good to get them on a digital assessment tool. And I'm not saying every assessment, every quiz needs to be done digitally, but it's a really good idea to build that in. That way they don't automatically associate, oh, it's an assessment coming up. Oh my goodness, it's got to be online because it's that big assessment, and big assessments are online. If we can make them go, yeah, some assessments are online, some are on paper, and it all just depends. If we can expose them to these things and take some of that anxiety down, I really think that will help them throughout their educational career. So I personally highly recommend Formative. I love it. It's a great badge, great tool. I cannot speak enough about this one. Another one, and it does not have a badge, but if you're looking for an alternative to Formative for assessment building, another one you'll hear out there a lot is Edulastic. It does allow you to create similar assessments to Formative. It's just not as visually friendly. That was the real big, we tried both with students in District 93, and they liked Formative better because they said it looks prettier. And I went, does that matter? And one student went, well, yeah, I have to look at this. I like the other one because I like the look. It makes me feel better. This one just looks very bland and it's kind of hard. It makes me feel like it's hard. It has a really better pre-created library of assessments out there. It's just not as visually friendly, but it is a really cool assessment tool. No badge, but if you're looking for an alternative assessment builder to Formative, Edulastic is awesome. But just so you know, there is also a really good chance, as far as assessments go, you are going to see any of the digital curriculum that your district that you end up in, that they have, they're going to be built-in assessments. So Discovery Education has assessments that you have to use built right in. HMH, which has like into reading. They have read, and a bunch of other history textbooks, they have built ready to go assessments that you really just go click, click, assign to class. So you will probably be told by a school district, yeah, we're not using formative, we're using HMH. Some districts will say, you are welcome to use formative as long as you also use the iReady assessments, or some will go, yeah, we don't use the iReady assessment, you use what you want. So it really just depends, but just be warned that there's a good chance that you'll be told, yeah, you have to use the built-in assessments. All right, enough assessment stuff. Let's talk about collaborating, because collaborating is awesome. Flip. We're using Flip right now. I love Flip. As you can tell, we're using it in class. But why I love it is, it's video sharing. It is closed, or you can make the section public. Obviously, all of ours are closed. However, if we wanted to, we could create a Flip space and share it with other education classes around the state, around the country, around the globe, and everybody could be responding to it. You can even create QR codes and share those QR codes for people to scan and see student presentations, student videos. Very, very, very cool stuff. And why I absolutely love it is Microsoft bought Flip, and when they did, they said, we are making a promise to educators. We have bought this. All educators, you get Flip 100% for free. Unlimited spaces, unlimited classes. Go for it, which is awesome for us. So there is a badge. It's 3 different level badges. I've gone through them. They're slightly intense, but you learn so much about Flip. And if you're going through these badges, or you decide to go through the Flip badge, you'll see in the end why I personally love Flip. Great way to get students sharing, even in person. So really, really, really great way to get students to share. Another collaboration tool that I guarantee you've probably used or heard of is Padlet. This was also a long, long time ago called Wallwisher. Padlet lets you create, it's basically like a virtual bulletin board, or a virtual cork board. And you could basically go, pin an idea up here. And then people could respond to that idea. People could pin their own ideas. It's very, very cool. I like it. You could put websites, pictures, or you could just type a statement up there. What I don't like about Padlet is it's now extremely limited. You get 3 active Padlets, that's it. So I had a lot of teachers originally create Padlets, and they'd say, oh, well, that's where my choice board is. Because I put, when you finish this topic, you could put here all my different options for you to do. And you can go to that Padlet and look up all the different ways that you could continue and expand your learning on this topic. And I want to see you add to it, which is great, but you can only have 3 active. So that limits you as a teacher. It's a great tool. There's no badge for it. But if you're looking for a really quick and easy collaboration tool, Padlet is awesome. But my personal favorite is Wakelet. I love Wakelet. Again, as you could tell, I use it in class. Wakelet does have badging available. Think of it as Padlet on steroids. So you can create collections, and that collection can be private to you. You can share that collection and make it public for anybody. You can have a space where it's only shared with your class, and students can all add to a collection. As they add, their name automatically pops up. Why I love Wakelet, though, is you can add not just pictures, YouTube videos. You can add videos directly over from Flip. You can add resources directly from Google. It will connect all of that. It is amazing. It is also a really, really great way to curate resources. So if you're looking for a way to keep a collection of all of your personal resources, this is a really great way to do it. You can just bookmark a bunch of things and then organize your bookmarks. But I love Wakelet. I've used it, and now it's to the point where my Wakelet collections are pretty out of control and I need to clean them up. but absolutely awesome. Everything that Wakelet can offer, and it is growing every single day. It is based out of the UK, so a lot of their resources, their video tutorials, you will hear them talk in the British accent, and anytime they offer free webinars, their times are always a little funky. Sometimes it'll be middle of the day or end of the day, and you'll hear them say, all right, we're here late at night, and you're like, what are you talking? It's 3:00. Oh, it's late for you though. So it is truly an international company. I love Wakelet. I love the badging process for them. Highly recommend this one. And another one that I could gush for hours about is Seesaw. This is a website and an app. I love Seesaw. And when people first hear Seesaw, we immediately go down to elementary because it is an online lesson tool. You can build out quick lessons and assessments. And as a teacher, I can see what students are working on in real time. I can give them feedback in real time. They are able to post these to the class wall. So think like Facebook Lite, like a really controlled Facebook. Why I also love Seesaw is parents can have access to this one. So in a lot of these digital resources, the only way parents have access is if they log in as their students. But Seesaw, a parent can have a parent account and connect to their child, and they will see everything their child posts and everything the teacher posts. They won't see anybody else, so it keeps other children, it keeps every child in the classroom is private between the teacher and the parent, and students can see each other's work if the teacher allows. But it is so amazing. Students can draw responses, type responses, video record, audio record responses. They can upload links and websites, and they can upload a Google Doc. They can connect all of that. But where it really, really takes off is students can collaborate together. You can create a collaborative lesson where all students are working together. They have a amazing built-in blogging tool. Again, it's all safe, all controlled, so amazing. And where I really pushed middle and high school is to look at it for blogging. Because if we want students to blog and be able to showcase their writing with an authentic audience, blogging is phenomenal. And man, Seesaw lets you do it. So people will say, well, no, I'm going to go over to Google with Blogger, which is not bad, but we don't have control over it. Here in Seesaw, even at high school, as a teacher, I have full control, and I can preview my student blog post. I can provide feedback in real time to them. Their parents can provide feedback in real time to them. So it opens that door up, especially in middle and high school, where students don't always share what's happening. And parents, as a parent of a middle schooler, I'm involved, and I still feel like there are days I'm like, I wish I knew what you were learning more, like even more, because in elementary, I knew everything. In middle, I don't always know, and I really wish I did. Seesaw lets you have that open communication. As a teacher, you could communicate with the parents. As a parent, you can communicate directly back with just the teacher, and parents can provide their students with real-time feedback. It was amazing as an admin to be walking through classrooms, and all of a sudden you hear a student yell, "Oh, my mom saw this!" And here's this little, fourth grader in the middle of the day who sees their mom's response to an assignment they just posted in real time. And it breaks down that barrier, like, my mom's still with me. That's so cool. I geek out over that stuff. You could create digital portfolios, so that this is just such an amazing tool. I could go, like I said, hours and hours and hours on Seesaw. There is a couple badges. The first level is Seesaw Pioneer. Then you become a Seesaw Ambassador, and then a Seesaw Educator. Again, I highly recommend Seesaw. It doesn't matter your content. It doesn't matter your grade level. It does not matter. Seesaw truly is one of those that can be used by everyone in every content area, in every age. I've seen it as young as pre-K, like 3 years old, all the way up through high school in blogging. Such a great tool. Really great safe place for students to share, because a teacher can control it. Parents can see it in real time. Amazing tool. I cannot recommend this one enough. Great, great, great resource. This one does not have a badge, but again, I cannot go a day without explaining my love for Notability. This is purely an Apple app. So if you are an iPad user and you don't have Notability, you need Notability. We are seeing more middle schools that use iPads and high schools that use iPads. They are using Notability. It's a digital note-taking app, so you can create digital notebooks and just write right on the screen on either lined, grid, or plain paper. You can import a PDF and mark it up. You can export all of your notes as a PDF. Another alternative out there is GoodNotes, but why I love Notability is so often I hear, yeah, I want my students to take digital notes, but when they type the notes out, it's not going in their head. And I agree. I absolutely agree with that. We've seen research out there that says that handwriting is better for the brain. But handwriting and still wanting to give our students digital access to information, we need an alternative. So if you are an iPad user, or you end up in a district that uses iPads and they have access to a stylus as well, Notability is going to be your best friend, because the student still gets that handwriting. They write directly on the iPad, directly on the device. They can mark up their PDFs. They can add in recordings. Notability will even record their writing and their audio in real time. So as a student, I could be answering a math worksheet, and I want you to explain your thought process while you're doing this. And so they press record, and Notability will showcase the student writing with their audio saying, okay, well, I see the question is 2 + 2. So first I'm going to draw 2 dashes. Then I'm going to draw another 2. And you can actually hear them talk through that learning process. It's phenomenal. Such an amazing tool. If you're not using it and you're an iPad user right now, you need to get on Notability. Or GoodNotes. GoodNotes is another one. GoodNotes does cost. Notability has a paid subscription, but their free version gets the job done and is phenomenal. I would be remiss if I did not mention a bunch of other built-in, ready-to-go organization tools. And these are all directly built into different devices and apps, your calendar, your tasks list, your reminders, your alarms, screen time limit. These are all really, really great ways to get students to control themselves and organize themselves online. So I always highly recommend these. We're going to get into some more specific content area ones now. So these I'm going to move through a little quickly because a lot of these do not have badges, unfortunately. ReadWorks is one of those unfortunate ones. It is a really cool free site though, readworks.org. It has reading passages on all different topics as well as assessment ideas. So it's a language arts one, but if you find the right reading passage, it could be for any content area. Really cool site, ReadWorks. Another really, really cool site that does have a badge is Common Lit. This is really great for grades 2 and up. Common Lit also has reading passages and reading lesson plans like ReadWorks. There is a paid version, which makes Common Lit slightly more powerful because they have more powerful built-out assessment options here. But if you're looking for alternative reading passages, this is a really, really great one. Epic! I love Epic. This is a website and app. It's free ebooks for teachers. You create a teacher account at Epic Books, and you can create a class library and have access to thousands of ebooks. They are ebooks, they're audiobooks, they're books in Spanish, just on all different topics, everything from some of like the Goosebumps books to, kindergarten intro to reading books. It really ends around grade 6, but it does have some really great books. The I Survive books are in there. I love Epic. It does limit the hours for students, unfortunately, to school time. But in the school time setting, if you are looking for an alternative to get kids reading, Epic is phenomenal. I love Epic. Check this one out, especially if you're looking at being an elementary teacher or a language arts teacher. Math Learning Center. This is a cool site. mathlearningcenter.org is just a cool site in general. And if you go /apps, you will have access to all of these free apps. And it's a website or an iPad app that allows you to manipulate different manipulatives to showcase your learning and understanding in math. They have Geoboard, a clock, money pieces, charts, pattern shapes, a whiteboard that they could use. Really, really cool stuff. If you are going to be an elementary teacher or you're looking at math, especially even middle school, this is a really, really great one. Just another place to get students to visualize mathematics. Plus, mathlearningcenter.org has really great, awesome vetted resources for teachers. But on those same lines, if you are a math person, and especially like middle and high school, and you need something even more meaty out there that's free, Desmos. Desmos.com has awesome digital tools for math. They're scientific and graphing calculators, and they will connect with Google, with Smart and Lumio. Some even digital math curriculums connect over in here with Desmos. So it's one that you will definitely come across, but I highly recommend Desmos if you're going to be a middle school or high school math teacher. And then if you're looking for just supplemental resources in general, it's not just language arts, math, and science, for history, for really any topic, CK12, Curriculum K12, is completely free. There is a badge for this one as well. It's got all digital curriculum resources, so many different content areas that it covers, and it's really, I'm at a loss. I need a new resource for X. I've got a group of students that aren't really getting it with my curriculum resource from my district. I need something more. CK12 is phenomenal for that. I love this resource. Great, quick info for teachers, quick resources for you to use, and a badge to dive deep into their content. Science-specific one, though, if you're looking for a really cool interactive simulation tool, Gizmos. Gizmos lets students create their own online experiments. Gizmos will present to them, play with these sound waves digitally, what happens, make observations. It's a really, really great tool. I will just say, students need a lot of support with it. You need to support your students with Gizmos. Great tool, but if you basically just go, yeah, I'm going to assign this lesson from Gizmos, kids go for it, there's a chance they're going to be lost. And that's just me speaking from experience, watching it in action as a curriculum person and as a parent. There is a lot of support needed with Gizmos and my daughter. And that's okay. But it is a really, really great interactive simulation site. But some other ones that are really, really great for science specifically that I would be remiss if I did not share. NSTA.org, that's the National Science Teachers Association. They are the gurus of everything science education K-12. We love them. We love everything they do. They have a ton of different lesson plans, tons of resources, and they have vetted them to make sure they align with state standards or the national science standards, which Illinois uses. Phenomenal resources here. You don't even need to be a member to access all of their resources, like their free resources. It's just phenomenal. And then another really, really cool site is NGSS Phenomena. This site lets you pull up quick videos that showcase a natural occurring phenomena. And students watch the video and then you discuss. As simple as it is phenomenal just how amazing these videos are. So 2 resources I would be remiss as a teacher or as an educator if I didn't share with future science teachers. And these are good whether you're elementary through high school, doesn't matter. History ones. National Geographic Learning. There is a badge with Nat Geo as well. Amazing stuff. It's history and science combined. Lessons, virtual resources, and global connections. I love Nat Geo. I personally have not looked at the badging, but I do love Nat Geo and everything that they put out there for students. So it is one of those that I know many other districts that have used it. Great resources from National Geographic. This one doesn't have a badge, but man, this is awesome! History teachers, elementary teachers, grades 4 and up. And 4 is a stretch. 5 for sure and up. Mission US. Oh my goodness, historical simulations. It's completely free, and it's basically role-playing. Students will take on the role of somebody in history, and it's usually like a kid their age, a high school or a middle school kid. And it's one of those like, turn the page here if you which way do you want to go? Turn to page 20 if you choose A, turn to page 30 if you choose B. Choose your own adventure. But you're doing it online with history. All different historical eras, all different historical events. I've done this, I've done it as a teacher, but as a parent, I did this one with my daughter when she was learning about the Revolutionary War in 5th grade. And as my husband was going through it, at one point he went, "Oh crud, I think I may have guided her the wrong way, and she might be on the British side." And I'm like, "Oops." And you see what happens to your character as you go throughout the experience. Amazing site. All free, Mission US. If you are going to be 4th grade and up, middle school or high school history, I cannot recommend Mission US enough. Again, another really great one, middle school and high school history, iCivics. Great lessons. There is a student access. I like this more for teachers. There's no badge for it. But if you're interested and you're looking at history as your content that you would like to teach one day, I highly recommend iCivics for their lessons and resources that are all vetted, all aligned to standards. Really great stuff. And another one that I absolutely love for history, that's again grades 4 and up, is Everfi. I love this for financial literacy. So something that we have to teach in history now is financial literacy. Creating a budget, knowing what a budget is, knowing supply and demand. We need to have these conversations, and they put this all in history, in social studies. So Everfi is great for these financial literacy lessons. I love them. Highly recommend this one. And again, Google Art, this one, it doesn't have a specific badge, but you would get this badge, find out more about this through the Google Educator badges. Google Arts and Culture. It's virtual tours of museums, virtual tours of historical sites. You don't even need a VR set. You could just manipulate it right on the screen. Awesome site. You can actually scroll into artwork. You can zoom all the way in to the point where you can see the thickness of the brush strokes. It's very cool stuff. Great for, specifically for art classes, but any class, especially in history as well. And if you're looking for a little more movement in your class, I love Go Noodle. It's free. It's got brain breaks, dancing, calming, yoga, and sometimes that's what our students need, especially if you're in even in a high school and you're doing like a block class where you've got these students for 90 minutes. That's a long time. Get a brain break in there. Do some yoga, do some calming, and you're like, really, will they do it? They may argue, they may make fun of it, but eventually they're going to go along with it because their brain needs it. Go Noodle, great free stuff. They've got goofy videos all the way up to not as goofy videos. So it's good for pre-K all the way on up through high school. Last recommendations, just so you know, you are going to at some point in your teaching career be working with a learning management system, an LMS, and this is your online classroom. Here at COD, we use Blackboard. That's our LMS, our virtual classroom space. We see these used in K-12 as well, all the way down to kindergarten. And we see it that way because a lot of schools have gone to e-learning days after the pandemic. If there's a snow day, we're not taking a snow day anymore. We're doing e-learning. Not all districts do that, but I'd say about 90% of them in the state do now. And what's nice about that is we don't make the day up. Downside is you need an online learning space. So you will typically be told by your district what your online classroom space is. Elementary tends to use Google Classroom or Seesaw. Those tend to be the popular ones for elementary and middle school. By high school, you're probably looking at Schoology or Canvas. Those are the really big go-to ones in high school. We've seen these down in elementary and middle, but not as much. So like I said, you will probably be told at some point, well, you're going to have a Google Classroom class, whether you like it or not. So just a warning, you will have an LMS. You will have some kind of virtual classroom. You probably are not going to get a choice as to what it is, though. I cannot go through this whole long, thank you for hanging out with me for the hour on this one, but I cannot go without saying my personal least favorite sites. I've shared all my favorites, but I have to share, these are my ones where I'm like, ugh, they give me the icks, for quite a few reasons. Teachers Pay Teachers. Number one, what you see here may not be SAPA approved. So they may not align with the Illinois SAPA law. Even if they do, we run into a lot of copyright issues, and Teachers Pay Teachers is one. There's a SAPA right to it, so they align for SAPA for teachers. They don't always align with copyright. So sometimes teachers will create things and put it up on Teachers Pay Teachers to sell, when really it's not theirs to sell. It belongs to the district. It used district resources to create it. Teachers Pay Teachers gives me icks. I do not recommend spending your time in Teachers Pay Teachers. Go to Canva and create your stuff. Go into Tinkercad and find the pre-made lessons and expand off there. Go to NGS and NSTA and find the science lessons and expand off there. Use what is already been vetted, that has been approved, before you go to a Teachers Pay Teachers. Quizlet. You may be like, wait, no, Karen, I used Quizlet in school. We use that one all the time. It's a flashcard. It's just flashcards, online flashcards. Truth. Quizlet will not align for SAPA. They have made it extremely clear to the state of Illinois and every district that has contacted them, nope, we're not doing it and you can't make us. Therefore, we cannot legally use it. I do know quite a few teachers that still do use it. It's a big no-no. Another one that is SAPA approved, but runs into some legal issues, is Class Dojo. Class Dojo is a classroom management tool where you can mark in how well a student is doing over time. You could give them points or take points away. You run into some legal issues with it if it's used not well. You run into the issue of public shaming, which sometimes if you don't set your privacy up right, all parents can see how other students in the class are doing, which again, we're going into a FERPA issue and student records and keeping those private. Ick. And I have seen personally more heartache and hurt and arguments with students and teachers over Class Dojo, students, teachers, and parents than I have seen help. Some teachers swear by it. And if the district has signed a SAPA agreement, I would just say be very careful. It's not one of my favorites. In fact, I would never use it. And then another one where I'm just like, oh, is Prodigy. Prodigy is an online math game. You're a little wizard working your way through the wizarding math world and answering math questions to cast spells and do fun stuff. And it's collaborative and kids can play together. And on the surface level, you're like, what's wrong with that? You spend more time playing than you do anything else. So if you're like, oh, in my math block, I'm going to give you 20 minutes to play to do math in Prodigy. Out of those 20 minutes, you're probably going to be spending like 3 doing math. And the other 17 casting spells at friends, which again is not a bad thing. But is that really what I want to use my time for? Is that really what I want my students to spend their time doing? If I value that they need a good solid 20 minutes of math, why am I going to have them spending 3 minutes of it? I am not a Prodigy fan. Some people, again, some teachers love Prodigy and they've figured out a good way to use it with their kids. I don't like it. It has never been one of my favorites. And yeah, so these are just some of my least favorite ones. I probably have many, many more. But these are the ones that immediately come to mind as, oh, please don't go with these. And if you do, please be careful because it may not lead to great results. All right. So thank you. You hung in for an hour with me. Yay. And this was not a required one anyway. So if you skipped your way through this one, awesome. Good for you. So now it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Karen, honestly, this is a really, really great future resource. Hang on to this presentation, come back to it, and honestly, probably will come back to it in like a couple years and be like, oh yeah, wait, what was that one called? Seesaw. I should look at that. Let me go back and look at that one. Hang on to this presentation. It gives you some good ideas of where to go and what to do. I personally always say, explore, play with different tools, decide what it is you really like. If you're still at a loss, start with your system tools. Start with your Apple or your Google tools and kind of go from there. Because you always want to start with the easiest, right, and available for everybody. And if a resource offers a badge, go for it. If they offer it and it's free, totally go for it. Because as you're going through it, you're going to decide, is this actually worth it? Is this a good one? Or is this really not worth my time? And that's what the badging is for. Like, I've gone through the Edpuzzle badges. I like Edpuzzle. It's not one of my favorites. And even going through the badging, I'm like, oh, okay. It's cool. I like it. I've used it. I still use it. It's not one of my personal favorites. And the badging really showed me everything that I could and couldn't do. On the flip side, Seesaw blew my mind as I went through it. I'm like, wait, it can do what? This site does what? The Apple ones, I could do what on my device? And that's just me personally. So I always say, if you want to learn a new tool and they offer a badge, go for the badge. Try it out. And even if you get partway through and you go, this stinks, then just stop the badge. No biggie. Doesn't matter. Just means you don't get a badge. And if it's free, there's no skin off your back. But if it's free and you really find you like it, then you have deep dived and really learned how cool that resource is for your students. So hang on to this resource, hang on to the slides for the future. Well past this class, come back to this, explore different resources here, and just have fun. Explore, play, try different things out.